We are going to solve the reverse linked list problem from LeetCode. The problem asks us that given a linked list, we need to reverse that. And if you look at the linked list here, we are the function here. We are given the head, and we need to reverse that. And as you see, head is of type list node, and each node has a value and a next. So let's work on it with an example. Let's say we have this linked list 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So what is the first step? The first step is to reverse the first element of this linked list, right? So at the beginning we have two linked lists. One is our current linked list, and one is the reverse linked list, right? So the reverse linked list at the beginning is none. So there's nothing. It's none. So we start by none, which is the head of the reverse linked list, right? At the beginning, it's none. So the first step is to reverse this link and tell 1, hey 1, would you please point to none, which is the head of the reverse linked list at this moment. So this would become something like this, 1, and the rest is actually doesn't change. All right. What is the second step? We tell 2 to point to the head of the reverse linked list. What is the head of the reverse linked list? This is 1. And this 2 is the head of our original linked list. So it will become something like this. So none, 1, 2, and then 3, and 4, right? And we know that 4 is pointing to none. And 4 is pointing to none because that is how we understand that this is the last element of a linked list. When some node in linked list is pointing to none, it means that it is the last element of that linked list, right? So what is the next step? The next step is that we reverse this link. So I think you're getting the idea how we are doing this. So at the beginning we have the head. So at the beginning we have the rev, which is none, and we have the head, which is given to us, right? So what do? We tell head must actually point to the rev, right? But we need the head dot next. We need this one. We need head dot. We do not want to lose the pointer to the next. So head is this, right? So we save this. Head dot next in a temp. So temp would be head dot next, right? We need to save it somewhere. Then we tell, hey head, would you please point to the rev, which rev is the head of the reverse linked list. So head dot next would be rev. Now that this is pointing to the beginning, to the head of the reverse linked list, now this should become the head of the reverse linked list. So rev should become head, right? Now we need to update head and tell head to go to what originally was pointing, right? So head would become temp, That's it. We need to do this iteratively until head is none. That is the end. And at that point, we return rev, which is the head of the reverse linked list. I need you to write these 4 statements one by one on paper and try to understand the logic, why the order matters for these 4 statements. And if you do that step by step for each step and try to trace these 4 lines on some simple example like this, you will understand why this is working. So let's go and write the code. So if, what is the, always look for the edge case. So if head is none, we return head. So there's nothing to be reversed. So the reverse is still none and return that, okay? Otherwise, we need to do this. While head, we need some rev, which is none at the beginning. While head is not none, all right? We save the link, we save the next of head in temp. Head dot next. Then actually we tell head dot next to be rev. So from now on, this head should point to the beginning of the reverse linked list. So head dot next equals rev. Then we need to update the head of the reverse linked list. We need to update that because now the head has changed, the head of the reverse linked list. So rev would become head. And at the end, we need to update head to become temp and move head. Sorry, we need to move head 1 step forward, and that's it. And we return rev. Let's test this. Okay, it works, and let's submit this. So it works. This is the iterative solution for reversing the linked list. Let's see how we can do this. This was the iterative solution. Let's see how we can do this recursively. To do this recursively, we need to define another function. Actually, the logic is the same, but we are just doing this recursively. So we need another function that receives the head of the original linked list and the head of the reverse linked list. So def reverse my reverse, something like this, self, and we have the rev, and we have the head. Okay, if a head is none, it means that we are at the end of the reversing procedure, so we just return rev, right? This is the base case for a recursive function. If you remember, in all recursive functions we have a base case. That is the point that we stop recursing. We have to stop recursing at some point, right? Otherwise it will be recursing infinitely and it will never stop. So this is where we stop. Then we need to call my reverse with new parameters. Temp equals head.next. Now we need to tell head.next equals rev, right? Now head is, at this point, head is the head of the reverse linked list, and temp is the head of the original linked list. right? So we need to return my reverse. What is the head of the reverse linked list? It's head. And what is the head of the original linked list? It's temp. And we just do this. And here we delete the file, the code, and we just return self.myReverse none, which is the head of the reverse linked list at the beginning, and head, which is the head of the original linked list. So let's test this. Actually, here we need to do the self.myReverse because myReverse is the function of this class, and in order to call that, we need to use the self keyword. So yeah, it works, and we need to submit that, and it works. Again, I need you to trace this on a very simple example and try to understand why this is working. As I said, at each step we are just passing the head of the reverse linked list and the head of the original linked list. And this is what we are doing in these two lines. I hope you understand what happened, and ask any questions if you have.